Did anybody not turn it in? Oh, that's good. Okay. All right. We'll be checking. Thank you.
Some people spend more time writing out their excuse than they would on their homework. Todd's back. Ding. You okay? Where's the old man? Should I stall? Oh, okay. Oh. Okay, we'll start. Okay, so blow your nose. Anybody missing a notebook? Tissue paper is here. $1 a sheet. One day we were out deer hunting, and when I was a kid, and in the snow, and we got half of our party got lost, and they had to spend the night in the snow. And so the only paper they had to start a fire and to use for toilet paper was money, and it was very interesting. Anyway. Okay, sit up straight. Relax your forehead. Relax your corners of your mouth. Pull in your tummy a little bit. Shoulders down and back. Chest out, which should bring your hands up your thighs a bit. And again, we'll just try to be very still for a few minutes. Okay, it'll get longer every day, a little bit longer every day. So the goal for the first 5 minutes or so is just to be very still. Try not to move fingers, not to move feet. Now please come to your breath. Start watching your breath lightly, not closely. We'll stay here for a few minutes. Now please start counting your breath to 10 and see if you can catch your mind being distracted. So the goal is not to get to 10. The goal is to catch your mind and stop it from reaching 10 by catching a random thought that comes up. So focus very closely on your mind. Try to withdraw your mind from this room, from the other people, from the weak. Try to bring the mind inside and settle it on the breath. And try to catch your mind slipping in with other thoughts between breath, and feel a sense of accomplishment when you catch your mind thinking about something else. See how sensitive you can get to catching even a slight thought of something else. We'll be here for a while. then please bring a person into the room to sit with you who you see as a teacher in your life, someone that you admire, someone who inspires you. Take your time. Choose a special person. Let them come sit quietly, softly in front of you. Now please think of 3 qualities that you admire about this person. Could be the same as yesterday. It's okay. Please focus on the first quality. Try to imagine the seed inside your own mind that's creating this quality. So what, during the day, many days, you must be doing something similar, but much smaller than what you see. Try to imagine there's a seed inside of you. Try to remember something you might be doing that allows you to see this quality in this person you admire. So take the first quality. Be a detective. Look through your life. See where you're doing something small, similar. Try to remember a specific time when you might have planted that seed. Now imagine that you're opening your eyes without opening your eyes. Imagine you're watching this person's face and you see this quality in them that you admire. In my case, the person enjoys praying early in the morning by themselves. So I'm imagining that I'm opening my eyes. I can see this person in their private prayers. Now the last thing we'll do, try to imagine, just pretend that you can see the seed opening in your heart chakra, and the image of a luminous image, picture of the person, three-dimensional, tiny person made of light, is slipping out of a karmic seed. The seed splits open deep in your heart chakra, and tiny, perfect, three-dimensional image slowly slides out of that seed, and then your mind places it on top of that person, and you see them in the light, in the way that you see them. The nice thing about them that you see is glued on top of them by your own mind. Try to take a few minutes and then we'll stop to imagine the process. Go through it a few times. Seed in your heart chakra, seed cracking open, perfect, complete hologram of a person coming out, and then your mind softly putting that on top of the person in front of you. Then you see this beauty in them, but it's coming from you. Then please come back to your breath. Watch your breath. Don't lose your concentration. Stay on your breath. For a few, inhale, exhale. Then slowly relax your concentration. And you can start moving, stretching. One last question for you. Would you rather have a seed to see them in that beautiful way, or would you rather have a seed to understand why you see them in that beautiful way? Okay, all right. We're going to take a 6-minute pee-pee break, stretch your leg break, and then we'll start a class. And I think at the beginning of the class we have a presentation. Do we? Okay, so please take a bathroom break if you need, or stretch your legs, drink something, drink. Water. I'm going to go to the bathroom. Okay? Relax. Yeah. No, don't worry. That happens. We go through cycles. It'll change in the end of the week. I had it a few days ago. Yeah. Hi, Anson. Hang on, what Buddha? I don't know. Oh, okay. Ben said, so when Buddha get enlightenment, he's like a seed at the end of the seed. Oh, okay. Yeah, I know. So he's helping us. Like, we are still, if he's don't see us from the problem, we will not need to. A lazy answer is to say, he sees that we see going to talk about it.
Does it come under
No. That's a, you have to work on that. You have to, he says that we see, at the same time he says that we are angels, and at the same time he says that we see ourselves having angels.
Is it because you can see has
I don't think so.
not this
But, I think I told you this, but when I was in the military, one of the last things I did, I examined the new public company. I was the examiner. And this question, I asked him this question. I said, if there is a person has no vaccine, how can he see us suffering? Then he gave a short answer, and then the Giku, the debate master, told me to stop. And then some of us went out on the outside, and we kept going for like 3 hours with the man who's now the abbot of the country. And we were working on it. That's my best answer. There may be something deeper. There may be some deeper. I'll give you a clue. My love.
I got a lot of work to do today.
Good morning. I'm going to talk about something called the scriptorium. The scriptorium is part of CUSA, which John's going to talk about this afternoon, and I'll let him explain what that means and everything else. A little bit of background on what scriptorium is. A scriptorium was a room in medieval monasteries where the monks copied scripts. Most of them in medieval times were illiterate, but they could copy. And there were no printing presses, of course. So that's how books were created, was people copying books. And it was done in a scriptorium. Not all monasteries had scriptoriums. If there was a library in the monastery, there was probably a scriptorium. Also, a scriptorium is a big thing in Name of the Rose, which is a great book written in 1980. I don't know how many of you read it. It's about that thick, made into a movie too. But a lot of it takes place in the scriptorium, which wasn't a real scriptorium because it was mainly a library, but that's okay. And then also, it's a place where James Murray and his assistants put together the Oxford English Dictionary, started in the late 1800s, well, mid-1800s, 1870, 1890, something like 1890, yeah. Next slide. So that is a picture of what a scriptorium looked like. In fact, looks like. This is a church in England, a monastery in England. That's probably a very fancy one. This is some drawing that somebody made of the scriptorium in the Name of the Rose. And the design we're going to use for the scriptorium in Sedona. This is a picture of Mr. Murray. Yeah, right. No potbelly, though. I guess I got to stand over here. We don't have enough rope. This was 1910, 5 years before he died. He constructed a shed. He was teaching at a school on the school property out of corrugated metal, that wavy stuff, I've got a bunch of it in my backyard. It was on part of a chicken coop. Go back. And this is before they actually published the dictionary. He's putting slips of paper in little holes. The whole thing was covered with these slots. They got pieces of paper from people, giving the first known instance that these people knew of where a particular English word was used, and it was given in context. And if you look at entries in the Oxford Dictionary,
there are usages of the word, and they will give a quote from something, tell you where it's from, and when it was done. Now, he then moved to a place near Oxford and built another scriptorium in his backyard. And he put out requests for people to send in this information about words. The post office had so many that they gave him a special mailbox, which is that red thing in front of his house. It's big. So every day he got lots and lots of mail and then put them in those little cubicles, and that became the dictionary. What has that got to do with what we're doing? All right. So what we are going to do is organize all the data that's been input in India into texts, into entities, all right? And we're going to catalog these texts, which I'll talk about what that means later. We have digital scans, and we're going to organize those into catalogable, which I think is a new word because my spelling checker didn't like it. Into catalogable, I can't even say it, entities. Having some of these digital scans from Sanskrit, we're going to match the Tibetan Kongyur and Tengyur texts to the Sanskrit originals. So you'll have them right there. People who know Tibetan and Sanskrit and everything like that can have a field day. I have no idea what they'll be doing, but that's okay. And then I was thinking about that. We can match Chinese Buddhist texts to their Sanskrit originals too. And you guys get to do that. Next. Other sources of digital scans. The Tibetan Buddhist Research Center, Gene Smith's organization, has given us their scans. They have 11 million pages of text. Not all of it's scanned yet. They're still working on that. But most of it is. They've given it to us. So one of our first tasks will be to take those texts where they overlap with the ones with the input that we have and match them up. So if you bring up a page from the ACIP library, you can display the appropriately scanned page in Tibetan from TBRC's library. There might be more than one copy. We're doing that, so Geshe-la pointed out these copies were made by hand. They're from wood blocks, and wood blocks crack. The holes in letters get filled up with ink, so there's just a big blob. Maybe when the guy puts the paper on and is pressing it down in the ink, it slips, so you have smudged things, or he doesn't do it and there's just a kind of a blank spot. But if you have multiple copies, the same mistake isn't made on each page. So we have more of a chance now of getting the original text, what they were there. Yeah, you know what that is. All right. Transliterated text. When I came to Diamond Mountain, there were 3 years worth of data that had been accumulated from India, input data, that nobody had done anything with because of the first 3-year retreat. All the people were, they weren't doing that. But, so I took all that stuff, and over a period, it took me 5 years to organize it, and we came up with 14,000 texts, most of which are not cataloged. And don't worry about what catalog means yet. So we have data from roughly 2006 or 2007 that has not been processed either, and there's probably more of it than we had between 2000 and 2003. So that's going to be kind of our first task to do that. The software to handle this stuff is already written. That's what I used. It'll have to be changed a little bit maybe. But that's something that needs to be done starting as soon as we can. Complete cataloging of the text. All right, here's the process. If you've heard ACI presentations before, texts are input twice, they're checked twice, and they're checked a third time. And we have 5 different versions of a text at the end of this process. We pick one, usually the last one, for inclusion in our catalog. So verifying the checking level is what gets done. Later on, like when Geshe-la goes through a text for an ACI course, the checking level goes up one more because he's gone through it, like he's doing with us, okay? He's found, he tells us when he finds a spelling error or something like that. Complete the cataloging process. We first can usually get the title of a text from the text itself. Often we can get the author. If something's in the collected works of so-and-so, all the texts in there have the same author, right? So we know that stuff, but we need to find out what the subject classification of the text is, and I'll talk more about that too. Next. How much? I'm out? You're actually over. All right. You probably can't read this. When we're processing these texts for inclusion in the catalog, these are the various things that have to be done. The data's a mess. It was done on DOS computers. There are power failures. Often a file just has gibberish at the end of it. It's missing a bunch of stuff. The date may not be there, which means that you can't open it in modern processing systems. So we have a fixed date kind of thing. All of that's there. We have to check the folio numbers for sequence and so forth. There's a lot of this stuff that has to be done, which has nothing to do really with the content. It's just making sure that we can read the text. These are digital scans. This one's from Mongolia. In this particular thing, they've taken 4 pages and photographed them all at once. So when we begin to input this text, somebody's going to have to go through and separate those pages for input. That's a fairly easy thing to do. Next one. These are digital scans from Sanskrit texts. They're published Sanskrit texts. We have scans of palm leaf. There's one over there. The palm leaf things are really kind of neat because they're dried palm leaves, and the people who wrote them took a sharp instrument like a knife and inscribed the letters in the palm leaf so they don't deteriorate over age. And all you have to do is kind of smear something on the palm leaf, and all of a sudden there's the letters. It's really kind of neat. All right, I've talked about this, blah, 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 blah. There's other information. We put in page size where we can. That's a good indicator of whether a particular page belongs to a particular set of pages, and sometimes they get mixed up. I discovered that when I was going over things. There'd be, 10 pages from a different text sort of inserted in where it was. We don't keep that information we get from India, but we'll have it there. The number of pages, all that stuff, media type. We have a text from Tibet. It's input, and we call it a xylograph or something like that. But then it can go to a PDF file. It can be an ACI course. Later on, it could be a video thing. It can take any number of formats. The same text can be there in different formats, so we keep track of that too. What's the main language and so on. The cataloging of a text is often an ongoing effort, or will be from now on. You have a text like Abhisamya Alamkara. How many different things are discussed in that in detail? All of those should be in the subject classification. They aren't now, but as we go through that, we can add those things. So the catalog keeps on going. The catalog, remember card catalogs when you were in college or something like that? That's basically what we're doing, but electronically. Next. The purpose of cataloging a text is to assign a unique access number for a particular physical book. So that would be the Tibetan version if we had that, but it's electronic now. If we had a translation, it would be that. In the various languages that it would be translated into. Everybody here who's not from the United States or an English-speaking country will be responsible for translating these texts into your own languages, in case you didn't know. Right away, okay. Adam is working on getting a tree structure of subjects and authors, it turns out, linked with the various texts. So you can just bring it up, take a look at that, and go find a text. I am put up the website. I'm working on a program that lets you search by phrase. And we've done it here. He's entering the... Yeah, we got, some number, 18 text maybe. That's Lele Jikta Natsoke. It's the first chapter, the first line of chapter 4 of Night. So, it's found it, second tab. So this is the list of texts that are in there that have that phrase in it. And the next tab. So you can click on one of the things in the last tab and bring up the actual text. So it's highlighted in blue. You can't see this stuff, but that's what's going to be there. And this is a website. It's working. Back to the slides. We're almost done. Okay, I just show you too, the last one there is to implement a cataloging tool for people who are going to be working on the scriptorium to begin to catalog these texts. And that'll be on a website. It'll probably be if you're in Sedona on a LAN, on a internet, well, not internet. The computer will be in Sedona, you'll have access to it. But also, you can work at home from that way. The next thing is to bring all the transliterated text together. I just talked about that. And the last thing is India's input in this text. Dan and Aaron, maybe Jason, I'm not sure about that, have totally redone the software at the input sites in India. And once we have enough money to get a optical cable link established over there, as soon as a text is entered and the center director says go, that will be input directly to the catalog. And we won't have to do a lot of the stuff that big thing I showed you. Next. And then translate the texts. That's long. Geshe has made an estimate of anywhere from 100 to 700 years to get this done. So we got to get things right to start it off, get all the tools in there. And finally, we need to process the texts, get them into the database. This is the stuff between 2006 or whatever, and once we get this thing from India established. People can do that. You don't need to know Tibetan or Sanskrit or anything else to work on that, and you could do it from your house once we get this website for cataloging established. We need to identify titles where the titles are not obvious. There's ways to get those, but that's a little bit more complicated. Identifying authors, same thing. Knowledge of Tibetan is helpful, but you can do it by pure pattern matching. Look at the spelling of something here and look at over here the same. You got it, all right. Match scans with text. This is matching the TBRC scans with our pages. knowing Tibetan, or at least how to pronounce it or read the letters, is helpful in that. Next one. The subject matter classification, Tibetan's crucial, plus Geshe-la's approval or help in what you're doing. He's the one that's doing it right now, and of course he has all this time to do it. But, we need more. Translators, that's obvious. So that's what we're doing. We're getting started. I'll be putting out calls for help as soon as we get our computer stuff set up. Then anybody who's interested can begin to help us work on that without having to sit in these cold places with desks and quills for pens and stuff like that. Probably not possible. We'll talk about it. A salad's okay. Okay. We're going to do a switch. I'd like the first two rows here to stand up and go sit over there. And all the Chinese people come and sit here. Okay, so come, quick. Okay. And we're going to do that every day, okay? So I can hit different people. Quick. Come on. Here. Come. Not over there, over here. Okay. You okay? Okay. Emily Gibson. There's two places right here. They're waiting for you. Then maybe tomorrow we put the Germans in the front, or Argentina. Okay. So I don't know. I don't know about that. Dodo, you ready?
Amen.
So we've finished a section called where the Buddha, especially the secret Buddha, said, in the future, I will come in the body of your teacher. Okay? And we went through all those quotations. Just to remind you, I mean, those quotations are old and they've changed a lot. And if you go looking for them, you're going to need the notes that I made. But I couldn't have done it without Phil's work. So, you know, we take one word out of a quotation and we look for it. And then we find a different version of the quotation. So we can't do that without Phil's work. So thank you for that. Yeah. Are you too hot? No, it's okay. Too warm? You want air? How many people want air? How many people don't want air? Okay, we'll turn on the air halfway. How's that? I'm a diplomat. It's 8:52. We'll turn it on at 9:30, okay? Somebody has to remember. Chunzo, can you remember? Okay, 9:30. All right. You guys will freeze. Okay, it's okay. All right. Nipa Lama Sangye. You okay, Adam? Are we there? Okay, good. Nipa Lama Sangye Tamje ki chinne ki chepa por drupani. So we're on the second section. We finished quotations from the secret Buddha, especially, that said he will come as our teacher. And as we'll see, as other people around you. And then now we're on to the funnel idea, which is that there are billions of people who already got enlightened already. They were smarter than us. We started out all together. But they can't communicate to us all at once. It's too confusing for us. So they choose one person, and through that person they funnel to us. It could be 1 or 3 people in your life or something like that, like your teacher, your partner, and your dog. Okay? But they choose people close to you to funnel to you. So now we're going to prove that theory, okay? We're going to have a section where we prove that idea, okay? Sangye Tamjeki Tinle, say Tinle. One of my early lamas' name was Tenzin Tinle. Do you know what Tinle is? Yeah, like we don't say Buddha's deeds, we say their holy deeds or something like that, and that's called Tinle, okay? Tinle ki Chepa por means the doer, okay? Chepa means to do, Chepa po means doer. And the Dani grammar case, Chepa por means, Drupa means, we're going to prove that your teacher is acting on behalf of all the enlightened beings, okay? They're funneling through your teacher or through your partner, okay? Drupa ni, Ngard sokshin kap shubashin. Earlier in this text, when we talked about the visualization of all the lamas, called the sokshin, right? The, how would you say it? Garden of collecting good karma, okay? Shubashin, as I mentioned there, Jitar namkana nepe dawa chikni. The concept is of a moon in the sky. Tomorrow? Wednesday is a full moon. So you'll be able to see a full. This is like the best place in the world to see a full moon. You'll see it rise, which is really beautiful. And then when the full moon comes up, Chinni Duma Sugnyan Tade Pacharwa. It means in every body of water which is presenting its face to the sky, the moon will reflect in that body of water. And in the scripture it's very beautiful. They say whether it's the ocean or a rain puddle or a tear coming down a person's cheek, if there's water facing the moon will reflect in that water. And there are countless reflections of the full moon in any given place. Because everywhere where there's water, there are full moons there. Okay? It's a very beautiful charwa. That's the ancient verb for charwa. We talked about it yesterday. There's charwa. Huh? Yeah. Or appearing. Okay, so it can mean, let's do charwa. Dictionary entry, sharwa, shara, sharwa, ba, sharwa. Another form of the verb is charwa, au chara, charwa. And they both mean to appear or to rise, the way that the sun rises, for example. So we say nima shar, means the sun came up. And then the word for east became, shar. So that became the word for east because that's where the sun that's where the sun shars, okay? Then the word charwa came to mean to appear anywhere, and it also has connotations of to think of something. When you say something occurred to me, in English we say something occurred to me. In Tibetan you say something sharwad in my mind. You know, an idea rose in my mind, okay? So we say, you can say sharwa or charwa. How do you decide east and west in the yoga tradition? Yeah, the front of the body and the back of the body. So the back of the body, for example, is called pashchi. And if you get to know Sanskrit, it's a very sexy thing, okay? So P's change to V's. Sorry, P's change to B's, B's change to V's, V's change to W's. All A's in Sanskrit change to E in English. And SCH often changes to ST. So Pashchi comes into English as west, the west. Okay, Paschimottanasana is the side, the back part of your body is being stretched. Okay, Tana means stretched. Came into English as, change the A to E, tenuous or tendon. Okay, stretched. Paschima, Uttanasana. Okay, ut means very much. Okay, so Paschima, the west side, Utta, very much, Tana, stretching asana. And if you want to go into asana, we can do that. It's ultimately related to another word in English, okay? But it means to stay. It's a seat, the butt. That's a long story, okay? So anyway, that's the word sharwa or charwa, okay? All right, stop dictionary entry. That's a long one. Charwatar, Sangye Tamjeki Tuk, Detong Nisu Mepe Yeshini, the holy mind of every enlightened being, which consists of the wisdom of Dewa and Tomba, which is what? Yeah, bliss and emptiness. Okay. Yeah, when you're first learning Tibetan, you mix up Dewa and Gewa a lot. And it's not a bad mistake because Gewa turns into Dewa. Okay, one is the source of the other. So this is a tantric expression that it's believed in the higher teachings of Buddhism that if you want to see ultimate reality quickly, you try to put your mind into a blissful state, highly blissful state. So Buddha's minds are often referred to as the combination of bliss and emptiness, because when you're in a high state of bliss, your prana is flowing better, and it's more likely that you could see emptiness. Okay, so oftentimes they call the mind of a Buddha Detong Nisu Mepa here. Nisu Mepa means indivisible, not as two. Me, ni, su, me, indivisible. So that mind state of a Buddha is reflected. All of the mind states of all the Buddhas are rochik, okay? Ekarasa. What's it mean? I like to call it a single song. I think it's a good, a single song means, in Sanskrit it means a single taste. But they're all singing together. All the minds of all the Buddhas are a single song. Ekarasa. Rochik. Where? Chuki Yingsu. Okay, Chuki Yingsu. Ying means realm. Okay, or the ether. So Chuki Ying means the realm of the Dharma. In the realm of the Dharma, meaning in emptiness. Okay, all the minds of all the Buddhas are rochik. They are a single song. They are a single song singing in the emptiness of all places. Okay, all of them. Okay, so they're all a single song. By the way, they're still separate people. They're still separate people. When Gibson becomes a Buddha, if he's not already, he's suspicious. He will still be a separate person, but his mind will be mixed with Emily's mind and everybody else's mind as a Buddha mind. Okay. Deni duje dundu nyentuki. Now the next part is really important. Okay, try to wake up and. How long when do we stop? 10? Okay, I have an hour to torture you with Tibetan grammar. Okay, next part is extremely important. Okay, so try to hang in there. Okay, Denyi means that Buddha nature or that Buddha mind. Okay, that one taste, that single song. The song of all the enlightened beings, okay? Dulje Dundu means, it's the opening lines of the sadhana. How's it? Dunkin Nanga Lama, Kolo Domba Yabiu Natsakiki Lama Yidam Chosa Kandasu Mitsaki Konishu Bagyor, right? Dunkin Nanga. What's dun? First word of the sadhana, dun. It means in front of me, okay? Dundu, okay? So here, in front of the dulja, in front of the disciples, to be discipled, he dundu nyentuki duala nyentu. Yeah, nyentu means sharka, means listener, means a lower Buddhist practitioner, a serious practitioner who is not yet have a global vision. Okay, they are just working on themselves. And they don't yet have a global vision, but they are a serious practitioner. Okay, that's called a nyentu. Okay, nyentuki, they emanate as a lower practitioner to a lower practitioner in order to duwa them, break them. Okay, tame them. If you want to say it more politely, let's say tame them. Okay, Rinpoche used to say tame. Okay, but understand what's going on. The mind state of all the Buddhas in the universe is ekarasa, one song, and then that song reflects in different places, like the moon, in different water. And if the person is at the level where they haven't gone global yet, then you present yourself, the Buddha will present themselves as a teacher who hasn't gone global yet, okay? All right? Nyentu ki duala nyentu, okay? Someone who needs a teacher of a lower level, then the Buddha will appear as a teacher of a lower level, okay? Like maybe they'll just teach them yoga poses or something. You know what I mean? Just that, nothing more, okay? Like that. Like, because that's what that person is. They're not interested in philosophy. They don't care about the pen. You know, they're healthy, so they don't care. They don't have renunciation. So the teacher will appear to them and make them do harder and harder forward bends and stuff. Okay. Nyentu. Rangel ki duala rangel. Then those are higher motivation, called what? Self-made Buddha. Okay, self-made Buddha. That's another Hinayana practitioner. They are still lower level. They haven't got a global vision yet. Okay, but in one presentation we can say they understand emptiness a little deeper. Okay, so that kind of student, for that kind of student, you kind of show as a medium teacher, medium level teacher, okay? Rangel ki duala, if that's what it takes to tame them. Then, changsem dang sangye ki duala, and there's some disciples are ready to be taught by a bodhisattva, and there are other disciples who are ready to be taught by a Buddha, and then they will appear to them in those forms. Dedan de means the respective, okay? It's an idiom in Tibetan. Start dictionary entry, de dang de, okay? De dang de means respectively. So here they're talking about disciples who could be helped by a bodhisattva, or disciples who could be helped by a Buddha. Then they will, de dang de number 10, they will display the respective form that's useful for them. So the word de dang de, which means that and that, means respectively. Okay, to a person who can respond to a bodhisattva, the Buddha will appear as a bodhisattva. To the student who can perceive a Buddha, they will appear as a Buddha to them. Okay, this paragraph is really, really important. What's it mean? What's the bottom line? Whatever you need, they will appear as that. Okay. Okay. Whatever level you're at, they will appear at your level. That's their shtick. That's what they do. That's their job. Okay, they have to. If they appear as something too high, you won't see it. If they appear as something too low, you'll miss it. Okay, so they have to kind of get to your level, and they have to appear to that level. So this paragraph is extremely important. The implications of this paragraph is extremely important. They will appear to you in whatever you can handle, and not higher and not lower. Okay. All right. Then number 10, they will show themselves. Dharma se. Not only that. Yabse jalwe dole. We had a bunch of jalwas already. We had a chunjal. What's jalwa? To meet. Yab and se.
Father and son.
Yeah, the father and the son. Okay. Yab yum comes from that, right? Yab means like father or male energy, and yum means female energy. Okay. Yab se jawi do, from the sutra of the meeting of the father and son. Who's the son? Our Buddha, Gautama Buddha. Who's the father? His father. Okay. Setsang se. Setsang. So after his father passed away, the Buddha went to another planet in order to teach his father. And then there's a Buddhist holiday. One of the 6 big holidays of the Buddhist calendar is called, Adam had it the other morning, Hla. Yeah, Hlabab. Okay, Hlabab Duchen. Duchen means big time. It means a holiday. Hag Sameach. Sameach? Hag. Which one? Both. Okay. Hag. And then Hla means the god or the deity or the angel. Bab means came down. Then it means they came back home. Who? Lord Buddha from the other planet. So it's a big holiday in this world. It's one of the 6 big holidays of Buddhism. Because he came back. Thanks. Like we celebrate, he came back. He was gone for a while on another planet. And then he came back. Okay. Anyway, a very moving record was made of the teachings that he gave his father on the other planet. Okay. Do you have the picture of Alejandro's dad? I haven't. Can you find it? Alejandro's dad passed away a few days ago. And he passed in a very special way. Very unusual. So he'll find a photo and we'll put it up when you're ready. You got it? I think I have it if you don't have it. Okay. Anyway, in that sutra it says, Gyajin Sangbe Chache Dang Lalar Duki Chache Ki Semjen Namki Dunze Te Jiten Namki Tokminu. So he starts out with the name of 2 Hindu deities, 2 Hindu gods. Okay, first one is called Gyajin. I used to call it 100 gifts, and that's a mistranslation. This jin can also mean destruction. So it's really Shakra. Shakra means the being who destroys 100 places. It means a powerful Hindu god named Shakra. Then Sangba is what? In the pure one. Brahma. Okay, Brahma. Chache. Chache means they will show themselves as if they are those powerful gods. Who? The Buddhas. Okay, to teach you, they can appear as a powerful god. Okay, like Brahma. Brahma, you got to understand, Brahma can squish a planet in his fingers. He can crush a whole planet in his fingers. He's kind of a little bit powerful. Okay. Same with Shakra. Okay. Lala, so they can appear in that form to who? To us. Like if we're Hindu and we would believe in a Hindu god, then they will appear as a Hindu god. Okay. Who? The Buddhas. What 2 religions used to fight in India? Who wiped out the Buddhists? Some of the Hindus, some of the Muslims. But so it's funny. According to Buddhism, Lord Buddha is appearing as the Hindu gods. Okay, and then they fight. Okay, anyway, Lala means, and in some cases, Lala means sometimes. Lala means in some cases, do. They appear as a do. We know dutsi, but it's a very strange word because the do part means demon. Okay, and it's spelled the same. Tsi means the nectar, okay, or something like that. So that's a long story. But do means a demon, okay. Hlaibu do, right? Rebecca was struggling with that. Where are you? She was struggling with spelling Hlaibu do. That's a long story. There's do for you, okay. Another spelling of do means not, so don't mix it up. The granthis are called do, okay, in yoga, in the yoga scriptures. So this do means demon, a devil, or you could say, I don't know, who's a bad person nowadays? Well, somebody like Saddam Hussein or something like that, okay, who most people think was a demon, or Hitler or something like that. Char. They will show themselves in that way also. Okay, so what he's emphasizing is that if it would help somebody, a Buddha will appear as the most powerful, beautiful being in the world, or as the worst person on the planet. Okay, if it would help somebody, they have the power, and they will do it. Okay? So now we have trouble with the people who irritate us, who are somewhere between the gods and the demons. Like that person who bugs me on the airplane, who spills their drink on me. They are somewhere between deity. They're definitely between those two. These are the two extremes, right? Then everybody I meet is somewhere between. So we don't know who's who, So we have to be careful. We're going to talk about that later. We have to be very careful, okay? The Lord Buddha said to his father, okay, like the highest karmic object in a person's life, one of the highest, he said, if it's necessary, I can show myself as Brahma and I can crush a planet in my fingers. And if necessary, I can show myself as a demon and I can kill 1 million people. Okay? All right? So if it helps somebody, okay? Can appear to kill 1 million people. Let's say that. Okay. All right. Chache dang. Semchen nam ki dunze te. Why do I do that? Because I say the dun of semchens. I'm trying to help people. I'm just trying to help people. Okay. Whatever helps somebody, I will appear that way. Semchen dunze te. But here's the clincher. Jikten nam ki tok mi nu. Jikten nam ki tok mi nu. Okay? Jikten means what? The world. Sanskrit is loka, which means the shining orb. And it comes from roch. Roch means shining. So R's and L's are interchangeable. So loka means the shining ball, which means the world. Okay? Jikten. But here it means the people who live in the Jikten. Okay? So sometimes the people of the world are called Jiktenba, okay? The worldly people, Tokmi Nu. Nupa means to be able. Nupa means to be able, right? Tok with an S means get it. Recognize me, okay? Tokmi Nu. What? They don't get it. They don't recognize me, okay? All the people in the world don't recognize me. I'm sitting on the bus next to them. I'm the person who cut you off from the gas pump in Tucson on Speedway. I'm the person who kicked you in yoga class. I'm the bug who crawled on your bed last night. Okay, all right. So. But Jikten Namki told me no. People don't get it. Okay, they can't recognize me. Okay, all right. Who said that? Lord Buddha. Okay, all right. Pretty cool quotation, and that's going to open up a big can of worms. Do you know that expression in English? Open a can of worms means now we're going to have 1,000 new problems. That statement is going to cause 1,000 new problems, okay? Which we have to get to, okay? Here we go. And then I got the quotation for you. If anyone's interested in my notes, you can have a copy, okay? I got the pages on either side. And they're very beautiful. They're very intense, okay? But he says, just roughly, he says, tapkepa. I'm always doing tapkepa. What's that? Yeah, I'm just doing dharma tricks, okay? Dharma tricks? Okay. And it's very beautiful. Kyuki kanyan kenzete. You should understand who I am. I'll give you the part after that. Jikten Chuki Mikote. I pretend to be those beings, but those... Do you know those like people who are actors in movies and they always get chosen to be the bad guy in the movie? And then I was wondering, how does it make them feel? And what does it do to their personality, you know? Like if everybody says, you're the best bad guy, you know, and can you, like Anthony Hopkins or something, can you play a creepy guy in our movie? And then how do you separate yourself from that? Like you go to lunch and then you try not to be creepy. And so Lord Buddha is careful to say, when I take on those evil forms, Mika means I don't get infected. I don't get infected by those disguises. Like I'm still a nice guy behind the mask, you know. Mika de Pema Chu Mi Chakpashin. I'm like the lotus who feeds on the water, but it's not made dirty by that water. Okay. Mi Chakpashin. Jema naso kam chenki jiten de jenjukse. So I take different disguises, but they don't pollute me. Okay? Okay. She sok sungbashin, as Lord Buddha himself said, du dang changbe duala du dang changba. For those who can only be tamed by a powerful god or a demon, I will appear as a powerful god or a demon. Okay? If that's what it takes to do with them, I will do it. Sangba. Tana. I like this part, okay? Get this. He. Tana means even I will go to the extreme of. Tana means I will go to the extreme of. Tana. Ridaki duala. Maybe there are people who can only be tamed by their pets. Then I show myself as their pet. Okay? So if you need a scriptural proof of that, here it is. Okay? Ridak means an animal, like a deer or wild animal, bear, deer, ridak, okay? Or pet animal, okay? And if that's what it takes to, like, I've known people who were really mean and nasty, and then someone said, I'm going away, can you take care of my dog? And they gave the dog to them, and then they went away forever. And then this person had to take care of this dog, and then slowly it changed their personality. And like after 2 years, they were really sweet people, and they're like always taking care of the dog. They never had anybody to take care of before. And now they have a dog to take care of. And we would say that it's very possible that that dog or those 4 little dogs, which Stanley saved in his last retreat from drowning in a lake, that was cool. That they could have been Buddhas who just trying to open your heart. Like that, okay? So now we have to be suspicious not only of people, but of pets. And then he says, Ja. What's Ja? Ja means birds, wild birds. Last night we had a nice bird singing, right? Yeah, in the trees. That's the only trees on this property. Why are there no trees on this property? They were all cut down. This was covered with oak. This property was covered with oak, okay? Then there was a railroad built, which became Highway 10. After the railroad was destroyed, you know, when they didn't need the steam railroad anymore, they made a highway. When cars started, they made a highway. So there used to be a railroad along the same path. And why was it there? They brought cows from these valleys to Chicago and New York. Why bring a live cow to Chicago or New York in a train? There was no refrigeration. There was no refrigeration. If you kill them here and you ship them, it's going to rot within 24 hours. So this was perfect. Empty land. You raise cattle here. You put them on the train, send them to Chicago. They kill them there, and they're fresh. And to feed the train, they cut all the oak. And they cut all the trees, everything. They didn't leave us anything. There's not a single, I think there's 1 or 2 oak trees left on this land. They cut everything, okay? And then we're like, damn, couldn't you just leave like 1 tree at the temple? It would have been nice. It takes like 90 years to grow an oak tree, Couldn't you just leave us one? Because Geshe Michael has a bald head. And, it would have been useful, People will say the same about us, about the oil, okay? When the oil runs out in 2040, they will say, why didn't they save us a little bit? Why couldn't they put solar panels on their house? What's the big deal? Why couldn't they save a little bit for us? And they will say that about us. We are also cutting all the oak trees. We're just doing it a different way, okay? And we're just letting the governments do it, and we're doing it. We're doing the same thing. And they will say, why couldn't you save us a little bit? One oak tree. Okay. All right. Anyway, I got off on the wrong track. Number tembale. And they will show themselves as a pet or as a bird singing in the tree to make it more pleasant when we have our Dharma teaching at night. Okay. They'll do that. Why not? Rangchak lay. This lay at the end of tembale means it's a disjunctive particle. Okay, so sometimes lay means karma. Sometimes lay means, as in Venerable Phil's quotation, right? Lay lay jikten natsuke. That's a good, lay means from karma. So sometimes it means from, sometimes it means karma, sometimes it means work. But sometimes it means than, T-H-A-N, okay? It's a disjunctive, or but. So that's what it means here, okay? They show themselves as a bird, they show themselves as a dog, they show themselves as a deity that can crush the earth between their fingers, or they show themselves as a dictator who kills 1 million people. But, Rangchak la Gyawadan Sambar Tamel Pe Shenyen Ki Tsu Tenching. For us, for the people in this room, Kyalwa misspelled, okay? Should be Kyalwa. Very important mistake. Because Kalpa, with a slightly different spelling, means eon. But this is Kyalwa, which we have to talk about, okay? Kyalwa. Kyalwa Dang Tsamba. This Tsamba means match, okay? There's another Tsam with an M that means retreat boundary. Cool? Okay, so put an M on the front, it's a retreat boundary. Put an AO on the front, it means matching. To match, and it probably related, right? But matching our Kyawa, they will appear as a Ta Melpe Shinyan. What's that? Ordinary person, normal person that you can relate to, okay? Who has weaknesses and problems and makes boo-boos and likes rock and roll, and somebody that you can relate to, they will appear as somebody you can relate to. Okay, Tamal Pishinyan di Sultan. You should learn the word Sultan. Those of you who are learning Tibetan, you should learn the idiom Sultan. Start dictionary entry. Sultemba. Okay, Sul is the first. Sa Shabgyutsula Sul. Bao sa ta 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 na ten. Sultemba. Sul means what? Way or method. Ten means to show or to teach, right? Sultemba is a special verb for holy beings pretending to be someone they're not. Okay? It's a special verb. We don't have it in English. I like it. It's a cool verb. Sultemba. The most famous Sultemba was the 12 deeds of Lord Buddha on this planet. Why was it a fake? Yeah, he was already enlightened. So why would he go through the whole thing again? Just for our benefit. It's just a movie for us. So, and it's called Sultemba, right? So like in Tibet, in the monastery, if you're trying to be polite, like the Lama gets sick or gets diarrhea, and you're coming out with your hands all, and you're like, Lama was Sultemba diarrhea, They were pretending to have diarrhea, like that. Lama is a Buddha. Lama doesn't get sick, but boy, that was a real Sultemba, okay? They were really showing it, So Sultemba means to pretend, okay? There's a word in English, a phrase. I'll think about it. Anyway, it means to fake it. Okay, it's Sultemba. Dele Shembe Denta Brangchak La Zegyu. Oh, Dele Shembe. Let's talk about Kelwa, okay, just in case I die after this morning. Say Kelwa. Sakataka La Kelwa. Extremely important idea. It comes in your homework. I forget where. We have 2 minutes to air conditioning time, okay? Hang in there. Kelwa, okay, there's a word kalpa, which means eon. It's not that. Kelwa means, it's an untranslatable word. What's it mean? It means the quantity of good karma you have in your heart. Okay? It means if you have enough gawa, you could listen to the bird last night and say, maybe that's a Buddha. Okay? If you had more gawa, you would say, oh, Amitabha. Okay? Like that. You would know which Buddha. You see what I mean? That's like higher kawa. Okay? If your kawa was lower, you'd say, how irritating. We're trying to have a class. The caretakers didn't clean out all the birds. From the 1,000 acres, I'll have to talk to Nick and Earl and Gyalse and Kunga. And, we got to cut down on the birds here. Okay. So, 3 possibilities, right? I mean, you see them, you know which Buddha it is. You suspect it might be a Buddha, or you just think it's irritating, or maybe you just hear a normal bird. Okay, which one is correct? All of them. Good. That's the pen thing. Okay, all of them. So, what determines what you see? Give me the Tibetan word. Kelwa. Okay, so it's a beautiful word and a beautiful concept, and you should get used to it. Okay, you could just say, I don't have the kelwa to see my partner as a Buddha this morning. Okay, they just seem really irritating to me. Okay, you can blame it on your kelwa. You used to blame it on your partner. Okay, a Buddhist will blame it on their kelwa. It's almost the same, I guess. I don't have the kelwa to hear Neil Young as sounding good this morning. Like I don't have enough kelwa. Okay. It means sufficient stored karmic seeds, okay? But it's a beautiful, beautiful idea, and you have to get used to it, okay? So what's your goal in your life? Yeah, like raise your gawa until what? Until even pets. You walk into someone's house and you see a cat, you're like, oh, man, Yamanta guy. Okay, like that, and it's not artificial. It's not forced. You're just like, oh, hi, Okay, that's kawa. Dele shembe denta brangchak la zegyu machuwa konate. Why your teacher didn't choose to appear in a more divine form was just your fault, okay? Like, you could have, there's an advertisement in America called I could have had a V8. I could have had something tastier, but I didn't have, I don't know. You could have had something tastier, but you didn't have enough kawa, okay? Lama tamapi namba le hlape longku soki kui namba tenkyang. Even if your teacher chose to try to show you the paradise body of a Buddha, like Amitabha's body, even if they tried to show it to you, rang chaki mitong. We couldn't see it. We wouldn't see anything. We wouldn't see it. They'd be like throwing pearls before swine. I love that expression. We just couldn't relate to it. It'd be like pearls in the old days. You got to understand. Tiffany's building in New York was bought with 1 string of pearls. In the old days, pearls were rare. Nowadays, they, cultivate them. But to find a single pearl in the ocean in a single oyster out of 1 million, pearls used to be worth something, okay? So to throw one in front of a pig in the hopes that they'll enjoy it is a bit of a waste. Okay. Anyway, so they, even if they appear in their paradise body, two things. Number one, mitong. You can't see it. Number two, dun min gyur. Dun min gyur. Dun means artha, right? Like Siddhartha. Dun, what? It wouldn't accomplish anything. Okay? There would be no point. There'd be no result. Okay? You can't see them. It'd be a waste of time for everybody. Okay? You can't see anything. I'm going to do one more paragraph, then we're going to take a stretch break. Okay? Here we go. You okay? Hang in there. Dele Shen, if they chose another body, Chokituku, if they showed the classic emanation body of a Buddha, if they emanated as a high lama or something, Chuku Dang, Changsem Soki Namba Tenkyang, or they chose to appear as a bodhisattva, etc. Tenkyang, Tongwei Leikyal Me. Okay, now here's a new word. Say Leikyal. Leikyal. He's made a word out of two words. What are the two words? Lei and Kelwa. Okay? He made a new word called Leikyal. Okay? You wouldn't have the Leikyal. And you wouldn't have the karma, stored karma. You wouldn't have enough karma to see it. Okay? Leikyal Me. We don't have the karma. Okay? Leikyal Me. Ching. Tate dile membe cha ridak soki number tena dele kyang yimi chepe pen mitok. So we'll finish this sentence and then we'll take a break. This sentence is exquisite. Okay? This is why you should learn Tibetan. Okay? This sentence is exquisite. And those books that he's doing, the 14,000 books that are waiting to be cataloged, every one is like this. Like, you can't believe it, you know. It's like, I don't know. It's all the best movies all in one place. Tada Dine Membe. And if they chose to be lower than they are now, okay, Tata Dile Memba. Memba means like Tekmen, right? Hinayana, lower. If they chose to take a lower form than a normal person, what's a lower form than a normal person? He says, Cha Ridak. Cha, birds are pets. Okay? If they chose to appear to you as a pet, Ridak, number tena, if they chose to appear to you in that way, Dele kyang yimiche. Yiche, what's yiche pa? Yiche. Yiche means believe. Believe, okay? Dile kyang yimiche. You would even not believe it more. Okay? If they appeared as a Buddha, you couldn't see it. If they appear as a normal person, you don't believe them. If they appeared as a dog, you'd even more unbelieve them. Got it? Okay? Got it? If they appeared as worse than a normal person, as a dog, as a pet dog, you know, then forget it. You just wouldn't accept it. Okay? Chepe, therefore, and pen mitog. Pen mitog was, it wouldn't help you. There'd be no help. Pen togamindu. There'd be no, it wouldn't serve any purpose. Okay? Now, get this feeling, okay? There's a spectrum of ways to appear to people. There's a whole spectrum. It's like the what do you call it? The radioactive spectrum, electromagnetic spectrum. Then down here, here's the visible stuff. Here's what a human eye can see. And then down below at a lower wavelength is all the infrared. You can't see it. Some animals can see it, you know. And then above that, you got the ultraviolet. And then we can't see that either. We can only see the stuff in between. There's a huge spectrum of electromagnetic energy, and you can only see a little slice in the middle. And it's the same with Buddhas. Okay? The infrared is your pet dog. Okay? The ultraviolet is to show in like Jimi Hendrix, Vajradhara. You know, someone gave me a picture. Where'd it go? Oh. The U.S. Post Office made a Jimi Hendrix stamp. Quick, quick. Yeah, so if the Buddha appears as too hip, then it just won't help you. You see what I mean? That's a stamp. That's an American stamp. God bless America. If he appears as too high, we can't see it. Ultraviolet. If they appear as too low, as your pet dog, infrared, you can't see it. In the middle is the visible, normal person. 2 arms, 2 legs, teeth, everything. Okay, then that's the only thing we can see. Oh, sorry, we can see the infrared, but we can't believe that a dog could be a Buddha. You see what I mean? We can see a dog, but we can't relate to it as a Buddha. And then if they show themselves as in their paradise form, we can't even see it. Okay, so they have to stick to the visible spectrum, which is a normal person. Okay. Okay, got it? All right, take a pee-pee break. Take a stretching break. Then maybe we'll do some questions, okay? We have a few minutes. We don't have much time. Take like a 5-10 minute pee-pee break. Somebody pee-pee for me.
Every time we record a song overseas, there's like
But there's no music.
There is sound.
Yeah, but where we are, where we're going to be, it's going to be not from our side.
Can we just put a microphone, his mic, next to the computer? didn't know if you had water. How are you?
Good. A little tired. As I focus on
Deshe kusum gengi korloni. He's quoting a ritual called Lama Chupa. Remember the first night I said we're going to reach this verse? We reached it. Okay? I said, remember this verse? We're going to talk about this verse. It was in the middle of Friday night. I stopped Venerable Phil. Here, we reached the verse, okay? Here it is. Deshe kusum gengi korloni. I'll say the whole verse. Deshe kusum gengi korloni. Tapke gyutu trawe jokek le. Tamel tsuki droa jenze pe. Kyabgun tuche chen la suwende. Let's talk about the verse and then we'll talk about how it applies to what we're studying, okay? The full verse, Deshe kusum, means what's Dewa Shekpa? Sugata. Yeah, gone to bliss means a Buddha, okay? The Buddhas. Kusum, their three bodies, which are what? Chuku, Longku, Chuku. Yeah, so the body they show on this planet, the body they have at home, and then their state of mind, okay, like that, all right? Then, including their emptiness, okay? Those three bodies, again, they wear them, okay? Korlo usually means what? Wheel, but in some cases it means an assembly or a group, okay? Korlo ni tapke, as skillful means, okay? Tapke means, I don't know what. Rinpoche had a student who kept eating all the stuff in his house. So one day he told me, you go buy 12 bananas. And I'm like, why? And he said, don't ask me why. And I went and bought 12 bananas. He said, put them on the kitchen table. So I put them on the kitchen table. You know, and then this guy came and he kept eating. He goes in the refrigerator and starts eating everything. And Rinpoche came down and said, are you hungry? He said, yes. He said, well, I'm going to tell you something. If you can eat those 12 bananas quickly, you'll get enlightened. And then this guy was like, okay, I'm on it, Rinpoche, you know. And he got through like 7 of them. And then he ran in the bathroom. And that's tapke. That's skillful means. Then he didn't raid the refrigerator anymore. Okay. Tapke. Gyutu is an illusion, okay? Gyutu. Gyuma has 2 meanings. Do you know? One is Maya. One is translated as Maya, Gyuma. And the other is intestines. So guess which one it is here. It's illusion, okay? Jogek is a beautiful word. Jogek means like on those music videos and the ladies dress up and they're like, you know, that's jogek, okay? There's a word for it in Tibetan, okay? It's like, you know, that's I'm not. It's in the book, okay? It's not. So jogek means to take sexy postures. Okay. Yeah, like a model, like a fashion model. Jogek day. Continuing. So it means the Korlo, the meeting of all the Buddhas. They had a meeting. And they took all their 3 bodies, and they're doing I translated it as seductive dance. They are doing a seductive dance, which is born of their skillful means. And then Tamil Sulki, they assume a Tamil form, like they assume the form of a normal person. Tamil Sulki, Droa Janzepe, in order to guide beings on this planet, Jenzepe, Kyabgun Tuche Chenla Suwadem, I make my supplication to my compassionate shelter and Savior. This is a famous refrain in the Lama Chöpa. It's over and over again, okay? But, so why is he quoting it here? Why is he quoting Lama Chöpa here? We just got through talking about how they could appear as a dog or a bird, and something within our, what do you call it? Visible spectrum that we can relate to. So he's saying, you're this ultimately sexy divine being, but you fake it for us. You fake it as a normal person for us. Okay, like that. Okay, Gengi Korloni. She Soktar, as those lines say, Sangye Tamje Ki Kusum, the three bodies of all the Buddhas appear. Guhya, secret, like Guhya Samaja, right? Sangwa means secret, okay? Secret 3, what is that? It's a tantric expression, the secret 3 of your teacher. Yeah, their body, speech, and mind. Okay, the way they move through the world physically, the way they speak, and the way they are thinking are mysteries to us. We cannot understand them. So they're called the 3 mysteries, or the 3 secrets. Those 3 correspond to the 3 bodies of a Buddha. Okay, the 3 bodies of a Buddha are the 3 of your Lama, how they move through the world, how they speak as they move through the world, and the thoughts they're having as they speak and move. Okay, they correspond. Dudupe lamani sangye tamjeki namtu lam chinle yinde. Therefore, your teacher is the emanation or the chinle of all the Buddhas. Okay. Then there's a really, really nice story, and I'm going to save it for the afternoon. Okay, it's nice to save. It's a beautiful story, very, very beautiful. So it's 10 o'clock. We have a half-hour break, and then Kendra, I believe, is going to teach us a class. And if you would like a more gentle class, Duo Duo is an unbelievable teacher. He'll be teaching the advanced class tomorrow, I think. Am I right? Yeah, he's an unbelievable teacher. He's a very, very good yoga teacher. I love his class. And tomorrow he'll teach us. And today he's doing the class up at the what do you call it? Pavilion, okay? Huh? Yoga tent. Is it the one that we sit in the evening? Yeah. So if you'd like a class out with Buddha singing in the trees, and take that one. And then if you'd like a tougher class, Kendra's going to teach a tougher class in here. Okay. But you should go to something, okay? Like, take one or the other, but don't take none of them, okay? It's not, I don't know. If you're like me, yoga's not particularly fun sometimes, but it keeps me healthy, and you'll thank us later. Puki Jushime Dotam Rira Nishi Inde Genpadi Sange Shindu Mikte Uwagi Doku Nanda Shingla Chipasho Idam Guru Ratna Mandala Kaniya Dayami Di Kewogun Sunam Yeshe Thank you. Just to remind John, Brady, Connie, can you also remind Nicole Davis for me? I don't think she's here. We have a meeting at 12 and breakfast, or lunch, at Menla House. I think Nick will be there. Yeah. Okay. Till 12:45. And then I have an important job with Scott Johnson. Okay. All right. Yoga starts in half an hour.
He